Alright, hey folks, this is Chris Lucas of the ProtestantView.com. And I'm known on YouTube as Liquid Smooth. I'm also known on YouTube as The Protestant View, and I have a website called TheProtestantView.com. Anyway, this video is going to be about Ron Paul's fake great 30-year record. And let's start out by playing this video, Ron Paul 2012 ad. So this ad was just last year, and it's called The One Who Stood with Reagan.
The establishment called him extreme and unelectable. They said he was the wrong man for the job. It's why a young Texan named Ron Paul was one of only 4 congressmen to endorse Ronald Reagan's campaign for president, believing in Reagan's message of smaller government and lower taxes. After Reagan, Senator Al Gore ran for president, pledging to raise taxes and increase spending, pushing his liberal values. And Al Gore found a cheerleader in Texas named Rick Perry. Rick Perry helped lead Al Gore's campaign to undo the Reagan Revolution, fighting to elect Al Gore president of the United States. Now, America must decide who to trust, Al Gore's Texas cheerleader or the one who stood with Reagan. Restore America now.
I'm Ron Paul, and I approve this message.
So as you could see, at the end, Ron Paul even says he approves of this message, the one who stood with Reagan. Now, I'm gonna show you a little something. Let's see here, Reagan. Oh, I guess I gotta go on. Now, Reagan signed the Immigration Reform Act in 1986. The act made it illegal to knowingly hire or recruit illegal immigrants, required employers to attest to their employees' immigration status, and granted amnesty to approximately 3 million illegal immigrants who entered the United States prior to January 1st, 1982, and had lived in the country continuously. Now, these 3 million immigrants, where do you think most of them lived? Most of them lived in California. And most of these illegal immigrants, they're Mexican, okay? 90% of Mexicans are Roman Catholic. Roman Catholics, the majority of them tend to support the Democrat Party. It's a very small minority that even support the Republican Party. And even those that do support the Republican Party are like your Paul Ryans. You know Paul Ryan ran for vice president with Romney, had his Catholic social teachings and stuff like that. Pushes socialism. That's why him and Romney get along so well. See, those are the type of Catholics that vote for the Republican Party. It's like, or that tend to go into the Republican Party. Now, and then there's a very small percentage that, really hate the Catholic Church, still call themselves Catholic, and for whatever reason, hate the Catholic Church. But I mean, you're talking about such almost an insignificant percent. So you don't have to really worry about offending them, because they already kind of understand that the troubles within the Catholic Church anyway. They don't get offended. They're like, well, that's just part of the truth, okay? These other ones, okay, they like socialism. They're like Paul Ryan. They like socialism anyway. They want amnesty for illegals. They're basically just like the Democrats. In fact, everything about them is a Democrat. So if you offend them and they leave the party, who cares, okay? So, folks, when I bring up, the fact that, these Roman Catholics are destroying our country, I'm not saying like all of them, but I'm just giving you, but when I'm pointing out like the ones that are elected wind up destroying our country. Like Judge Roberts, appointed to the Supreme Court, now oversees the NSA and hires all the and nominates all the FISA judges that judge over the NSA. Just one man running it, Judge Roberts. Um, so, I'm just bringing all this to your attention. So, now, Ron Paul promoted Reagan, and Reagan did this. And he still approves of this message that he stood with Reagan. It's one thing, folks, when you do something 30 years younger, but 30 years later, and you're still bragging about getting Reagan elected when Reagan did this. Not only that, but that hostage crisis was fake. That was just an excuse to give Iran weapons. It was a fake hostage crisis. And I bet even Carter was in on it with Reagan. Not to mention the Iran-Contra scandal. And those Sandinistas, people could paint them anyway. Sandinistas, people could paint them all the ways they want. But the Sandinistas, like, they weren't all communist, and I don't even know how communist they really were. They weren't Marxists. A lot of them just got these names labeled on them, so people would think that it's okay to go kill them. But in actuality, the Sandinistas, a lot of them were made up of Christians. There was a good portion of Sandinistas that were Christian that just didn't want Catholic rule. And even the ones who weren't Christian, they didn't want Catholic rule either. It's just like in this country, the Republican Party, about, I'd say, 70% of it's Protestant at least. And the other parts of it is made up of a lot of agnostics and atheists that also, have conservative values that don't want Catholic rule. They don't like the things they see in the Democrat Party, and the Democrat Party has long since been Catholic rule. You want some more proof of that? Look up this guy, William M. Tweed. See what he was all about, Boss Tweed. This was all about making sure the Roman Catholics had such great control of the Democrat Party, and even bribed Republican politicians to vote with him for the things he wanted. But he mainly ran the Democrat Party through Tammany Hall. I also look at the Society of Tammany Hall. I think you folks would find that pretty interesting. That's pretty much a Catholic society. But anyway, Ron Paul's voting record is not what you guys think it is. If you helped Reagan get elected, how do you have such a good record? Why is it that when you have people give speeches, they're still making Reagan sound like this saint, like this god? When in actuality, Reagan passed amnesty, Reagan passed gun control laws. Reagan did a lot of evil stuff, And you never hear Ron Paul ever talk about Judge Roberts and how he's Roman Catholic. In fact, let's see here, homeschool curriculum, Gary North. Now, Gary North is the director of Ron Paul's homeschool curriculum. Gary North is known as a Reconstructionist. He basically rewrites the history that let's see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, now we go to Gary North's page. Look at this. what every Protestant evangelical homeschool parent wants: a Roman Catholic Greek curriculum. Now, Gary North runs Ron Paul's homeschool curriculum. He's the director of it. Why do we want a Catholic curriculum, a Catholic homeschool curriculum, when it's Protestants that founded this country? Shouldn't we have Protestants teaching us this? Do you think a Catholic's going to give us the real history of America's founding, considering they weren't even around really? Or considering that, they were siding with all these countries that we were fighting against, like Spain. Because we used to refer to Spain's president as Your Catholic Majesty, because everyone acknowledged that they were ruled by the Catholics, okay? The Pope sided with the South during the Civil War. That's why you see all this hatred from Ron Paul. He hates Lincoln. All his buddies like Gary North, Tom Woods, they all hate Lincoln. So this is Ron Paul's real 30-year history. It's like he hates that slavery was abolished. That's why he's with all these Roman Catholics that are all so much bashing Lincoln. I mean, Ron Paul is a very hateful, evil man, and people need to see that, he actually hates Protestants. This is talking down to Protestants. Do you understand that? This is telling you, you stupid Protestant. You need us to educate you. I hope you people register this in your thick skulls that, still think Ron Paul's good. I mean, think about this. He's talking down to you. What every Protestant evangelical homeschool parent wants. That means you're stupid. You need a Catholic to educate you. You're not smart enough, you stupid Protestant. You need a Catholic to educate you. That's exactly what Ron Paul's saying. Okay? That's exactly what all of his buddies are saying. And this is where your money, when you give to Ron Paul, folks, this is where your money's going. Do you like this? Do you like this stuff? And look at this, man. He goes, a classical Christian curriculum is inherently and necessarily Roman Catholic. No, it's not. A Christian curriculum is Roman Catholic? Really? You're called the great whore in the Bible. The Roman Catholic Church is the whore of Revelations. Right here, folks, they are lying to you. Right here, a sentence, it's only like, what? 3 sentences into this, they're lying to you already in the 3rd sentence. Actually, they lied to you in the headline, because why would a Protestant want a Roman Catholic curriculum? You folks understand the deceit that's going on? Do you understand that Reagan had laws removed so a Vatican embassy could be created? And why were these laws in place? And when did these laws get put in place? They were put in place in about like 1860, I want to say 1868. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head. But these laws got put in place shortly after Lincoln's assassination. Why were these laws put in place? Because there was so much proof that the Vatican was behind Lincoln's assassination. I mean, it was said that there was enough proof to convict the Pope. Okay, all 10 co-conspirators behind the assassination of Abraham Lincoln were Roman Catholic. John Surratt was found hiding as a guard for the Vatican. He was one of the Pope's bodyguards. And that's how we found him working as a Pope's bodyguard. And here in the Bible, if you read Revelation, it says it talks about this great whore. Well, that great whore is the Roman Catholic Church. And now these people are telling you a classic Christian curriculum is inherently and necessarily Roman Catholic. And then they say, if you doubt this, read Laura M. Berquist's book, published by the hardest core American Roman Catholic publisher. So it's a Roman Catholic publisher, Ignatius. Well, you know who Ignatius is. Ignatius Loyola founded the Jesuits, okay? Now, and so no wonder, that's a fitting name for the hardest core American Roman Catholic publisher. That's a very fitting name, Ignatius, Jesuit. Okay. If you look at our Supreme Court, folks, we got nothing but Roman Catholics on it. We got founding fathers that warned us of a Roman Catholic conspiracy to take over America. We have Samuel Morse, the inventor of Morse code. He was Lincoln's friend, and he kept warning of a Roman Catholic takeover of America. And I even have this book on my website if you go to my bookstore, and you can read it for free, or it's called The Bookshelf. It's in the upper right-hand corner of my website, The Protestant View. You go to it, and you can find this book called A Foreign Conspiracy Against the Liberties of the United States. And in it, Samuel Morse is warning America of this Roman Catholic takeover. And what do we see, folks? We see Judge Roberts sitting on at the top of the NSA. Oh, and he's the only one who gets to nominate the judges that rule over the NSA. Only one. It's a Roman Catholic. What kind of judge? What kind of people do you think he's going to nominate? You think he's going to nominate Protestants? Do you think he's fair? You think? I bet. Is he going to? Are those people? And if he does nominate a Protestant, is that? Do they just say they're Protestant, or are they a Methodist, a Presbyterian? People who aren't really Protestant, because those are not Protestant denominations. When you're leader of your church, which the leaders of the Methodist and Presbyterian and a few others, you can see them on videos bowing to the Pope. Well, if you're bowing to the Pope, you're not exactly Protestant. You're not Protestant. You're just different. You're another religious denomination, but you're actually more like a Catholic denomination. You're like a different sect of Catholic. You're not a different sect of Protestant. So just because you're not Roman Catholic does not mean you're Protestant. Not if you're bowing to the Pope. You're still Catholic. You're just not, you're just not like their sect. Okay, but you're still bowing to them. And it's really odd when you see all the judges that voted for abortion. It's no real Protestants. It was from your, that judge for Roe versus Wade. It was like Methodist, Presbyterian, Roman Catholic. And just like today, the Catholics had a chance to overturn Roe versus Wade, but it was the Catholics that voted not to. So just because you think they're so right to life, they're not. In the Bible in public schools, hey, why doesn't Ron Paul ever talk about who took the Bible out of public schools? Well, probably because Ron Paul's backed by the Roman Catholic Church, the same ones that are destroying your country's freedoms. See, and this is from the book Pope or President. You can also find this on my site for free, because as you can see up here, theprotestantview.com/books/Pope or President. You can read this. And this book was written in about 1858, and it says, we have come now to the war on God's holy word by its expulsion from the public and free schools of this country. In 1841, Bishop Hughes, in effect, offered the Roman Catholic vote for sale at Carroll Hall in the city of New York if the Bible would be excluded from the common schools. Of this movement, the New York Herald of June 20th, 1854 says, the operations of Bishop Hughes on the school question caused the nomination of a Catholic ticket for Senate and Assembly, and had the effect to cause divisions between Americans and adopted citizens at Tammany Hall. Thus, the Herald ascribes to Bishop Hughes the first church movement in the political affairs of our country by introducing religion into the arena of politics and nominating a Catholic ticket for the Senate and Assembly on the school question. Let every Protestant and patriot remember this fact. 38 schools in the city of New York alone abolished the Bible, and commissioners were appointed to expunge from the pages of school books all the facts of history which were displeasing to the papal system. Books so mutilated and defaced with black can now be seen at the Bible House in that city. This Bible expulsion from the public schools began by the Archbishop in New York legislature, was followed by a similar effort in McClintock In the McClintock Bill in Pennsylvania, 9 states of the Union have made an attempt to expel the Bible from the schools, and in California they have been successful. So folks, I want you to know that's Roman Catholic Archbishop Hughes that did this. Same Archbishop that started all these riots against Lincoln. Lincoln at first sent Archbishop Hughes to Rome to serve as like an ambassador, but then later on it's like Archbishop Hughes winds up doing all this stuff against Lincoln, like starting riots, trampling a black orphanage. Destroying a black orphanage and trampling the kids to death. All these black kids got trampled to death, and you guys want to keep voting Democrat and keep supporting these like Catholic politicians that are more loyal to the Vatican than they are to America. Now, hey, I'd vote for a Catholic just as long as I could know 100% they're loyal to America. But considering, folks, that they have been ruling us so much lately and our country has taken such a turn for the worse, I think they can understand it for just a little bit, hey, we don't hate you, but we want to just make sure we get some Protestants elected for the time being. Okay? And they should not find that offensive. If they find that offensive, then they're in on this. They're directly in on this. If they find that offensive, they're directly in on this. They're directly in on this takeover because there's no way they should find this offensive. See, folks, on Commonwealth magazine, it's a Catholic magazine, and it's in Europe. Well, they publicly said the Catholic takeover of America is almost complete. In their country, they feel like it's okay to go ahead and speak about this. Or at least I think, from my understanding, I think this is like a European magazine. I'm not 100% sure. But they wrote this December 19th, 2012. The Catholic takeovers of America is almost complete. And do we see that? All this amnesty talk about being passed lately. What do you think that's going to do when they pass amnesty? 90% of Mexico is Roman Catholic. Most of your illegals are Mexican. Last time amnesty was passed, it turned California into a Democrat state. And most of your Catholics vote Democrat. So what do you think is going to happen when they pass this amnesty and it consists of affecting 30 million to maybe even 60 million immigrants? What do you think is going to happen? And folks, don't you find it kind of odd that you hear stories about these Mexicans that are illegals, they commit crimes, are released back out on the street, but yet there's a Protestant Christian family from Germany named like Romanik or something like that, something that starts with an R, can't remember off the top of my head, but they're this like German family that came here because they wanted to homeschool their kids because they wanted to protect them. They wanted religious freedom, and they didn't like the way that the German schools are now forcing them to educate their children. So they want to educate their children more of a Christian fashion. Well, they come here, right? And they're law-abiding citizens, never committed a crime, don't do anything illegal, but yet they're being sent back. Why are they being sent back? You got millions of Catholics, some of them committing crimes, and they're just let back out on the street. Ask yourselves that. Ask yourselves what is going on. I find this stuff very offensive, folks, and you should too. It was Protestants that spilled their blood to found this country, to fight for this country. It was mainly Protestants. All these Catholics came later. It was Protestant Americans that founded this country. It was Protestants of America that got rid of slavery while the Catholic Church was sitting there supporting the South. Because most of your people that dropped out of the Union Army, most of them were Irish. And I'm pretty sure folks hear about Irish Catholics coming over here from America, immigrating over here from America. And so, hey, all these Irishmen just happen to be dropping out. Right at the time, you know, Archbishop Hughes is causing all these riots and things like that. You don't think this stuff had an effect? At the same time, you know, the Pope writes letters to President Jefferson. You don't think this has an effect? Folks, this is just a little bit of what I had to share, and thank you for watching.